rehearsing a scene. And I looked at that and I thought, shit, you know, all the time I spent in New York, you might see that once in 100 years. That kind of ensemble working together, the personalities and the quality of the acting and the writing and everything. I thought, man, this is magic, you know. And I never lost that feeling. It was a wonderful group who all loved working together and great writers. You know, in a sitcom, or you know, it's the writers that make it. They have to make a show that works week after week after week.
And it did.
24 seasons. Yeah. And so it was wonderful. Great experience.
You have so many really iconic characters, and it seems like you've really deliberately chosen your roles over the years. Has there ever been a role you were offered that you turned down and then later looked back and thought you could have done something with it?
The only one I can think of really, which was not a good career move, I turned down an offer to be to have a part in a film that Martin Scorsese was directing, and out of stupidity or something, you know. But it was a part in the film, and I thought this really isn't it for me. And since then I thought, what was I doing? What was I thinking of? You know, and I guess you make mistakes. You know, perspective is a little bit not as broad as it might be. So that's happens to be in that regard. But I don't turn down much. I like to work, and if there's some connection I can make with a character, and I get a feeling that the director and the script's got something, I'll go for it, you know, because I like to work on it. I like to do it.
Talking about iconic characters and everything like that.
I'm sorry?
Talking about iconic characters that you played and everything like that. The character Willy Wonka in Gobstopper, you got to take on a role that was already played before. How did it feel to put your own little stamp on it?
Oh, I loved it. You know, I wasn't too acquainted with what had been done before, or whatever, but I loved doing that. I just had somebody was talking to me the other day how I wish somebody grabbed it and made a film out of it.
Yeah,
I would have loved
absolutely.
it. You know, I think we're still thinking about that. You know, but I had a great. That was fun.
Yeah, I was just wondering, as you're when you're in Roger Rabbit, when you're like holding like Roger by the neck and stuff. Well, can you just kind of talk a little bit about that? Because did you like actually have something in your hand, or was that a lot of using your imagination? Because I know back then the sets were obviously a lot harder and different to do than it is now.
Yeah. Well, they were very helpful on that show. First of all, we had a comedian, Charlie Fleischer. I don't know if that rings a bell with anyone in here.
Yeah.
Charlie Fleischer is a comedian, and he can do very wacky, off-the-wall kind of stuff. And he was on the set as Roger Rabbit all the time. And he made up a kooky costume, but he was the voice of Roger Rabbit. And he was always off camera, so that when we were talking to Roger Rabbit, there was a man there being Roger Rabbit, and talking, saying the lines and doing the dialogue with you. And then they made dummies of like kind of weighted foam rubber dummies of all the Roger Rabbit, the Weasels, and I forget what other characters. And we would practice before we'd shoot it, holding the dummies, you know, so that, and doing the movements we would do in front of the camera with the dummies, so that we got a feeling of the weight, because they were weighted like, you know, with a weight. And we had a pantomist who guided us in what, even though we got nothing in our hands, what muscles we would be using if we had something of weight that we were carrying or hitting or whatever. So that and we would rehearse all that before we would shoot it, and then they take all of that away and we'd shoot it. But we would have done the work, hopefully, to convince the audience that we're actually